and welcome to another episode of TSF Reviews. Today, I'm joined by Suhaib and Junaid, and we are gonna take on the next installment of the Hitman's Bodyguard, which is the Hitman's wife's bodyguard. I mean, it's a good title. It's better than Hitman Bodyguard 2. I mean, that's a generic name, but this one, it's slightly interesting because they've changed it up a little bit. Anyways, before we start, boys, what do you think about this, Junaid?
A good movie. I mean, it didn't disappoint.
Okay, okay. What about you, Suhaib?
Um, I obviously, the first one was much better. Uh, I believe, there was no need for a second movie. If it was a one and done deal, I would have been happy to. But sure, I mean, watching Ryan Reynolds and Samuel L. Jackson doesn't hurt. So, I mean, it was an okay movie. I loved the first one. I'm a fan of the first one. The second one was at best.
Well, yeah, I
For
kind of
you?
have to agree. It's a good movie, but we kind of didn't need it, and at the same time, it's like a one and done kind of deal.
Hmm.
Anyways, let's get on with this. So for me, I have one thing to say, and this is regarding Ryan Reynolds. Ever since he did that one role, he's just been using the same character over and over again. And I'll tell you which role. It's this one. He uses the same character in every single movie now. That's it. That's all. That's what I can see. Okay.
Yes.
Mask on,
Yes.
mask off. He's the same person.
Hmm.
I don't know if he's getting typecast as these comedic characters, but let me tell you, I'm kind of irritated by it now. It was fun at the beginning, I mean, congratulations to Ryan Reynolds. He worked hard on the Deadpool movie. We got a good sequel and all that. But then, come on, just stop using that same character everywhere. You know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, I think they kind of went over the top with Salma Hayek's comedy in this.
Yeah.
A little
Yes.
bit, a little bit. Like at times, it felt weird. Sam Jackson, Morgan Freeman, Frank Grillo, they're like all fantastic. They all did they had nice roles. Even Antonio Banderas, I kind of forgot his name for a second there,
Yeah.
but he did a good job as well, as a Greek person, which is weird because he is very, very
Throwback.
Espanol.
Throwback to Desperado.
Yep. But he did a good role as well. I enjoyed his presence. Overall, this movie had a very heavy cast, but should it have been this heavy a cast? I don't know. Junaid, what do you say?
I mean, we didn't really need it, but I mean, I'm not complaining much, except for the overacting parts from Salma. The rest were okay. The rest was a good movie. I mean, the best part was played by, of course, Samuel. I mean,
Of course.
I don't see why they put Morgan Freeman in. Maybe filler,
Hmm.
but okay. Overall, it was good. The ending was the best. That's what I'm going to say. So I'll,
Not even one bad ending.
Hmm.
I'll let Sohaib take over.
Okay, okay.
Okay. First things first, Mubarak, you stole from my notebook. If I don't think it would be clear, but here it's written Ryan Reynolds' character is getting old, and Selma Hayek was very extra. Both things I've written in my notes.
Okay, first of all,
And
I have the mask, okay? You don't. So I get the points for this.
yeah, sure. But yeah, I agree with you in that. I mean, since that movie, he has been cast as this self-aware comedian who is self-aware of the movie around himself going on, and he makes this self-aware jokes. And sure, with his on him, it suits a lot. But I mean, you need something different.
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
yeah. sure, Samuel L. Jackson is pretty much the same character in every movie, but uh, you know, uh, but his roles are still, a little different. Nick Fury was a little different than this. This is a little different. It it has differences. It has levels, but Reynolds
Yes,
is getting a little boring. And even the new movie coming up, Free Guy, again, pretty much the same character.
it feels exactly the same.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a problem for me. Again, the there were good jokes, but many jokes were reused from the first movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, you can call it a throwback, but reused jokes have. Uh, I think the seatbelt one was a good throwback, but other than that, the old jokes kind of hit me well. Cinema Hike, again, I agree with both of you, was very extra. Did not needed it to be.
Uh,
Uh, Way too much. Sometimes way too much. I mean, the nuns' reactions were pretty spot on the ship. Baki, you know, some. I mean, obviously, it's a comedy movie, and you don't really get to, uh, you know, analyze it scientifically, the problems and the things in it. But obviously, some hits on Bryce were very, deadly, especially the car hit on his legs. He was fine, standing fine, like after an hour or so. And, when he was passed out in the back of the van, and he was getting hit by those rocks and everything, and like it was all good. And he was fine after that. But, and sure, it's in a comedic way, but at least have something because you're actually killing people, right?
Yeah.
If it's in an environment where people are not dying and you're just making a character like just like Tom and Jerry, like Tom and Jerry are not going to die, whatever the fact may be, but people are dying in this movie. So if they are dying, why isn't Ryan Reynolds? Okay, he's not Deadpool again. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So other than that, sure, there were good jokes. The I some some jokes that I would recall is why what if somebody's upstairs when he shoots the gun on the roof? That I liked. The Bodyguard versus Bodyguard and Hitman versus Hitman thing was it was okay. It was fun. It was a fun take. The sleeping and hallucinating part was fun. Um, the father reveal and especially Samuel Jackson's reaction to it was beautiful. I mean, it was just and it was very on the nose, but it was funny for what it was. And the getting the guy's joke was very basic, but it worked at that position. And security level 2 was fun.
Yeah.
On the ship at the end with at the boat. But overall, I mean, it was a fun movie. It was a fun one-time watch, and but obviously for me, the first movie would always be the superior and the better.
Yes, of course. Yeah, I feel that as well. First movies have their charm. They're like there's some really good movies out there that are, good, and then the sequel comes out and you're just like, why did they do this except for money?
Mhm. I mean, we did Fast
Like
Nine,
a lot of movies nowadays, that's
so
what they want. They just want money.
we did Fast Nine recently, so we should be past this
I,
point.
I I knew this was
Oh,
coming.
we should be.
So they are just at the second part, so
No, but seriously, going back to your jokes, I think one joke in particular, and this, so hey, you haven't seen Star Wars, so this probably wouldn't resonate with you. But when Samuel Jackson picks up the mace and he's like, "What can a mace? What was the line?
What kind
Let's
of
see what a
mace?
mace will do." Okay,
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
sounded like
uh,
Mace Windu, and it was just like
uh,
such a classic Star Wars thing. I'm like, oh, that's nicely done. Yeah. Apart from that,
I get the reference now when you said
yeah,
it just now.
yeah, because Mace Windu is his character from Star Wars,
Mhm,
so that
mhm, mhm,
that was a thing.
mhm.
Uh, so that was something that made me chuckle unexpectedly. Apart from that, the jokes that you talked about, yeah, I enjoyed most of those jokes. There are a lot of jokes out there that I enjoyed.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, this movie is also a one-time watch.
Pretty much.
JD, you have anything to say?
Actually, yes. There were one scene actually, which was the ending. The fight was way too long. I get it. It was Hitman versus Hitman, Bodyguard versus
Mm.
Bodyguard, but it was too long. They just,
Mm.
stretched it for some reason. Plus, the whole overacting by Selma was a bit of downfall. I mean, it wasn't really comedic, if it's the proper word. I mean, I get it. She's trying to be comedic, but she's not. At some places she is, but other than that, there were too many plot holes. Uh, Subplots actually, not plot holes. I mean, there were from nowhere. This Frank came up as a new agent, and he's after the Papadopoulos, or whatever the name is from Antonio.
I can't
And
even try to.
Mm.
yeah, so and then the whole scene with Antonio Banderas' character, where she goes into the water, and then that was we didn't hear it and that was just made up for the movie, just to make the length a bit longer than it usually was. Again, we didn't really need the movie, but one time watch, yes. The only person which I enjoyed in this movie was Samuel, and the part about the dad joke
Yeah.
about being black, that was epic. The rest, yeah,
Okay,
the ending was good. The ending was good. Like,
I
what the
have a
f?
tiny question for both of you right now before we get to the ending.
Mm.
Ryan Reynolds' character is Michael Bryce Jr., right?
Yes.
Mm.
Which means his father should have been Michael Bryce Sr., but this guy is his stepfather. How does this work? Think
Probably,
about it.
just like they have showbiz names, so he probably changed it for the business.
Okay. Let's go with that. It's just something that just hit me right now. It's like, it's a stepfather. Why is he Michael Bryce Sr.?
I'll add two things at the end. Number one, I think Ryan Reynolds and Samuel L. Jackson have a very good chemistry.
Mhm.
Between the two, whenever these two are holding a scene, it's like very good. Something that like we can relate to maybe Kevin Hart and Dwayne Johnson. But obviously, I'll
Yeah.
put Hart and Johnson a little higher than these two for now,
Definitely.
because their chemistry is like on whole another
That's
level right now.
next
Right now.
level. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. But other than that, for me, the parent kid thing was a little cringe. I mean, was it needed? I mean, them being the father parents to Ryan Reynolds. I mean, I don't know.
Like it
I
was weird.
Basically, this was just a throwback to their stories mainly. Michael's story
Pretty
and
much,
Darius'
Yeah, he
story.
didn't have a mother, he didn't have a father, so they
Yeah.
became those, and they couldn't
On
have a kid, so
on on
they
on that
let
note,
him.
on that note,
Yeah.
bloody gelato. I mean, what the heck was that?
Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I was passing by a gelato stall today and I was like, okay, so I can't eat anymore either, or I can.
Oh. Anyways,
Okay.
let's wrap up.
Yeah,
Guys, your
there's nothing more to talk about.
scores, Junaid.
Uh, I'll give it maybe a 7, because this is a one-time watch, and it was not so good. It was not so bad. It was more higher than average. So I'll give it about a 7.
So hey,
6.5. Because for me, the first movie was 7.5, and I have to take 1 point away for this. 6.5.
okay, fair enough, fair enough. I have this as well as a 6.5. So hey, are you sure you didn't steal my notes? Because almost everything we've said is like identical.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, no, I just made them before. So I pretty much copied yours.
Maybe, maybe.
Mm.
Anyway, so I guess that's a wrap from us.
Yep.
Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, which had less bodyguarding and more wife, but
Let's
all it
wait
really
for
is.
Hitman's sister's bodyguard or mother's bodyguard or whatever the hell they
Hit,
make next.
Hitman's wife's children bodyguard.
Kid's bodyguard, man.
Isn't
Hitman's
that still
wife's
the
children.
Hitman's
What the heck was
children
that?
in that case?
Anyways,
Yeah.
anyways,
Hmm.
let's wrap it up.
Thank you for watching. Let us know if you've seen this movie and what you thought about this in the comments below. And as usual, be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell icon too while you're at it. And I guess this is us signing off. See ya.
See ya.